Good afternoon. This is Mike Sasser, and I would like to welcome you to the Health Hour with Mike Sasser, a live show right here on Lone Star Internet Radio every Wednesday at 1 p.m. I'm glad that you're listening in, and I tell you, I like to call it a hour of health news that you can use. And I always encourage you to, you listening viewers, listening people out there, to join in the show. There's several ways to do that. And one is by calling into the station here. And that number is 936-647-3776. You can call right into the studio, and we'll take your questions, your comments, and see what's going on out there. Another way you can get in touch with me just about any time that you would like is to go to my website, and that's www.mikesasser.com. And you can click on the, there's a little menu tab there. You can click on Contact Mike, and that will open up a page that will give you my my email. Also, my Facebook link is on there, as well as Twitter. So just, all that social media, you can get in touch with me, and let me know maybe you're interested in an upcoming show, or if you'd like to be on a show, if you have some health tips and things like that. Maybe you have a weight loss success story and you would like to share that with the listeners, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. But there's another thing that you can also get involved with. The Health Hour has been on now for a little while, and we would be happy to talk with you about being a sponsor, or maybe doing a little bit of advertising with us, and we'll get your name out there. So there's a couple of different packages that you can contact myself or the station here, and we'd love to talk to you about that. The other thing is, if you miss the live show on Wednesday at 1 p.m., you can always go to the www.irlongstar.com, and you'll be able to find the past shows there under archives, and pull up the podcast and check out the podcast. Those are there. Once they're posted, they're there, and you can listen to them in the middle of the night, in your pajamas, or just anytime that you'd like to listen to them. So there's just all kind of ways to get in on the show, and to be part of the show. So I'll tell you why. Of course, the name of the show is called The Health Hour. And you might well say, well, who is Mike Sasser, and how did he come up with this show, The Health Hour, on Lone Star Internet Radio? And it all came about. It wasn't an overnight thing, but I'd always struggled with my weight, and I talk about this every week because it's kind of an ongoing thing, and a lot of people out there do. But about a year and a half ago, I really got serious. I had tried all the fad diets and things like that. Bought the exercise equipment, and I don't want to sound like a broken record or anything, but again, so many people can relate to this, and so I decided to just really do a lot of research on nutrition, and of course I knew that exercise had to be involved. Although I didn't like exercise, I'm not a gym type person. I probably went through about 4, maybe 5 gym memberships in my lifetime that I didn't continue going to, and after about a month's time, I ended up paying the bill for about another 3 or 4 months before canceling the membership. So maybe some people out there that can relate to that type of stuff. So anyway, going back a year and a half ago, I kind of put myself through the ringer, if you will, and it really wasn't that bad. I did a lot of research on foods and nutrition, and kind of applied some things that I'd learned way back in the day of when I used to manage health and safety, and changed out the word exercise for like activities, things that I like to do and stuff like that. So long story short is I became my own success story. I lost weight, and more importantly, I have been able to keep that weight off, which I had never done in my lifetime before. Once the pills ran out, once I got tired of using the exercise equipment, I would always go back to my old habits, and I would, of course, gain the weight back, sometimes even more weight than what I had. So I wrote a book called Simple, Inexpensive, and Painless Weight Loss, and it's not a diet book. I like to say that it's not a diet book. It's actually my own personal weight loss story, and I share my tips in there and a lot of information and things like that. But then I have a tracker, food and activity tracker, that I put in this book, And it's a guide. It's not a food plan. You don't have to eat exactly what I eat, but I give you the kind of the perimeters to follow and whatnot and everything. And you write your own success story. So that's how this show kind of came about. I was a guest on a couple of other shows, and lo and behold, we had an opening here, and so here we are. And the main thing I like to do is to pass along some information and tips, and just help keep the community here in Montgomery County, healthy, and just kind of talk about the well-being and even safety. Again, my background is health and safety, so anything that I can do to pass along to keep you guys out there healthy and safe. That's what I'm all about. So that's what the show is about. My book, it is on Amazon. It's a published book. It's actually here local at Hastings Bookstore on 105, and then also a store there. I like this little store. It's a small store, but the Book Exchange on 1097. Wonderful guy named Mitch there. Go in, see him, and talk with him, and he can hook you up as well. And one more thing is I was kind of challenged in a way, so I decided to go ahead and throw this out there. But I have just offered a guarantee, and I say if you use it, you will lose it. I'm talking about if you use the information in my book, I guarantee you're going to lose some weight. And if you buy it and you throw it on the coffee table and don't do anything with it, well, I'm not going to guarantee it. But if you actually take the information and make an effort, and all the details are on my website and everything, you can check it out and see. But it works for me. I've been able to do it, and I have some pretty good success stories now. A few reviews accumulating on Amazon, so it's a good feeling and a good thing. And I know I'm talking about my book quite a bit, but I want to get to really something that's near and dear to me. And this is in the book, and it's printed in the book. It's actually printed on the back cover of the book, and that is. As I was struggling with my weight, and still do, it's not like you reach a magic number and then all of a sudden, boom, it's you're done with it. I begin to think like, well, part of this reason, part of this problem, and with obesity, in America and overweight is the abundance of food. We're blessed. It kind of seems to be everywhere. And we, quite frankly, kind of blindly eat our ways through life and stuff, and that's how we become overweight. But there's a flip side of the story, the other side of the coin, if you will. I begin to think how almost disturbing it was for me that here I am, I'm trying to lose weight because I eat too much, while people out there are going hungry. And I was just finishing up the book. I mean, kind of like writing on some of the last chapters and putting some of the final touches on there and stuff. And I thought, I'm going to try to help two different types of people here. I would like to help the people that that want to lose weight and make an attempt to lose weight. And secondly, what can I do to make a little bit of a difference for people who don't have enough food? People who are going hungry. And so I decided right then and there to dedicate part of the proceeds of my book sales to a charity that fights hunger. And I did quite a bit of research on different charities and things, and I found one that I did support towards the end of last year, and that is Feeding America. And if you have not heard of them, what they do is they help support over 200 food banks across the U.S. And so they're kind of, I guess, the parent company, if you would, of all the different food banks, and that includes, matter of fact, the Montgomery County Food Bank right here in Montgomery County, and they all kind of fall under the Houston Food Bank. So you have Feeding America, and then you have the Houston Food Bank, and then the affiliates are Montgomery County Food Bank, as well as the Galveston Food Bank. And I did not know this. I was just over in College Station the other day, and the food bank, the Brazos Valley Food Bank, is also associated with the Houston Food Bank. So, that way, do I want to sell some books? Yes. More importantly, what do I want to do? I want to help people, and so that's why I've even kind of put it on the line, so to speak, and said I will I will challenge you. I will guarantee if you use what I've put in this little book, and it's about 106 pages. It's not technical. Again, the name of it is Simple, Inexpensive, and Painless Weight Loss. And I mean, it's just that. I'm not really saying that losing weight is simple, but I'm saying I've found some simple techniques, some simple foods, inexpensive ways that you can, you don't have to go out and buy this newest gadget or gizmo to lose weight. I mean, they advertise it, they make it look real nice, and hey, if you want it, that's great. But I'm saying you don't have to go out and buy these things and spend that money on that to lose weight. So that's kind of what I'm about. That's kind of what this show is about. And so we come to you every week, here in downtown Conroe, and serving Montgomery County and surrounding areas, and just passing along some good information, some healthy information, and hopefully having a little bit of fun along the way as well. So like I said, I encourage you to get in touch with me and be a part of the show. And I think we're coming up on our first break. So I tell you what, coming back or come on back, and we'll get into something else here.
Hey, this is Cindy Cochran, and now Conroe can boast of another first. The first morning live talk show, 10 to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, right here on Lone Star Internet Radio, coming straight out of the fabulous downtown Conroe, Texas. Be the coolest guy at the water cooler, or the most informed break room dweller by listening to the fun side of the news, local, national, infinity, and beyond. The Cindy Cochran Show. You ain't heard nothing yet.
Are you interested in learning more about preparing quick, healthy, and safe meals for your family? Would you like to spend time with others learning tips and tricks, along with practicing and tasting nutritious food? If so, the On the Road to Healthy Living Mobile Cooking School is for you. Call Amy Ressler at Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service at 936-539-7825 to find a class near you or volunteer to host a class.
SPCA PetSnap of Montgomery County is a 501c3 all-volunteer-based rescue and adoption organization with a no-kill policy for healthy and adoptable animals. Our goals are fourfold: to rescue and rehabilitate homeless animals, to provide a safe haven for the animals until a suitable adoption or foster care home is found or until they are reunited with their owner, to educate the public about the great need to reduce pet population, which includes the importance of having their pets spayed and neutered, and to further the cause for humane and responsible pet ownership, and to provide a low-cost spay-neuter clinic for people who are unable to afford to spay or neuter their pets otherwise. SPCA PetSnap of Montgomery County encourages you to think adoption first. You can contact us at www.spcaofmc.com.
I'm Lieutenant Bob Berry with the Conroe Police Department, reminding you that texting and talking on the phone while driving are not only dangerous, but also illegal in school zones and other posted areas. Drive safely and alert.
Hey, welcome back to the Health Hour with Mike Sasser. I am Mike Sasser, and appreciate you guys listening in today. Health Hour, it is an hour of health news you can use, and we strongly encourage you to be a part of the show. You can do that by calling in at 936-647-3776. You can always go to my website, www.mikesasser.com, and I have a contact page there, and that way you can email me, you can hit me up on my Facebook, you can tweet me on Twitter. I think that's how they say that. I think that's how that works. But, yeah, lots of ways to get in touch with me there. And send me your questions. Send me your comments. Send me your suggestions. Maybe you have some suggestions or something you'd like to hear on the show, upcoming show. And speaking of, if you this is a live show, but if you happen to miss this show, you can always go to www.irlongstar.com and catch our podcast. The Health Hour podcast is on there along with many other good shows here on Lone Star Radio. So what I like to do next is get into a segment that I like to call the Montgomery County Restaurant Reports. And what that is I ask the friendly people down at the health department that go out and inspect all of the restaurants in Montgomery County. Got a tongue tied there. I know what it is. Think about all the restaurants that are out there in Montgomery County. I mean, this is a big county, and these people cover a lot of area. But anyway, they send me a copy of their reports from the prior week. So these are fairly current reports, and they come straight from the inspectors that are out in the field. And by the way, if you're out there and you have you're dining in a restaurant or wanting to try out a new restaurant, or for that matter, just want to see how they're doing, you can request these. Usually they are. I have seen them posted in the restaurants before, as well as you can request to see them, and they should have them on file, at least on file there for you to take a look at and everything. So anyway, you know what? I usually start with the good, but today I thought we'd switch it around just a little bit and see who out there is maybe needing a little bit of help. And I'm not beating these restaurants up by no means, but these are the actual inspections, and basically these are some write-ups, or I guess the actual words they use is demerits. And the health board, they have kind of a grading system. So it's not, if I say like, okay, 3 demerits, well, that doesn't mean they have 3 problems, 3 issues, or anything like that. It's just kind of a scoring system or grading system that they use when they fill out these inspection reports. So that's kind of how this works, kind of how it goes. And so I'll just start off here with, and by the way, these are restaurants that are in Montgomery County. So we're talking about the Woodlands area, Conroe, Willis, Magnolia. I mean, again, the county's so big, and there's so many restaurants. I mean, you can imagine. And these guys they even inspect like the schools and cafeterias and that type of stuff too. So that's a pretty big job out there. But anyway, all right. Coming up first here is Mama Juanita's Mexican Restaurant, and that is on Highway 105 West in Montgomery, and they were inspected on March 14th. Looks like they had 3 demerits. Again, that's just kind of a score. It's really just one checkoff point here, and for the most part, it says do not put buckets with sanitizer next to cleaning equipment, and it says also store away from food and equipment. So, more than likely they had some sanitizer, close to some product maybe or something like that. But again, these are things that more than likely are fixed when the when the inspector's there. I mean, the inspector sees something. Well, they have to write it up. That's kind of their job to make the restaurant aware of that. But since I've been doing these, I find that a lot of times, and they'll even make some notes sometimes that that it was corrected during inspection. So again, we're not talking about earth-shattering things there, but. So that's all that Mama Juanita's Mexican Restaurant in Montgomery there had listed on their report. The next one is Wing Select, and this is not really too far from where I live. I honestly haven't tried this place yet. I like wings. We're talking about buffalo wings and that type of stuff. And they were inspected on 3/15, March 15th. And they're located on FM 1097. That's out right off of Lake Conroe there, or practically on Lake Conroe. And they had a listed 4 demerits here. And I'm looking at the checkoffs here. It says approved source of labeling, and it looks like that they had some coleslaw or potato salad that wasn't properly labeled during storage. So that was something that the inspector brought to their attention. And that I used to see that. Did you know, matter of fact, that OSHA, the governing body of health and safety of the U.S., they have as well that all products in any containers that are not in their normal containers, have to have some kind of label, and so that might be something on a safety side you might want to keep in mind. Say around your house, if you pour some bleach into a different squirt bottle or something like that, you might want to write bleach on there or label it so that you know what it is, and that way not make a mistake with it later on down the line. So anyway, okay, Wingstop, not so bad. All right, good deal. The next restaurant report is coming from Black Eyed Pea, and that is in the Woodlands there on Lake Woodlands Drive. And they were inspected on March 11th. And they also have 4 demerits here. Let's see, it looks like... can on the shelf. Looks like they, again, kind of a storage issue there. Maybe some cans were not... okay, dented can on the shelf. There we go. Sometimes I have a hard time reading some of these, but dented can on the shelf. I mean, think about it. That's kind of a little small thing, but yet the health inspectors point that out to the restaurants. And keep in mind, all of this is not... not to get the restaurants in trouble or anything like that, but it's just for the overall good and health and safety of the general public. So that's what this is all about. That's what I used to tell people in my old business with OSHA. It's like, well, they're coming out to inspect one of our drilling rigs or something like that. I worked in oil and gas, and everybody kind of got all nervous and stuff. I was like, look, they might find something, they might not, but the thing is keep in mind that it's for the good of everyone. So that's kind of what I like to approach the restaurant reports and inspections with as well. So the next one on the list here is going to be Chiller Bees frozen yogurt. I think I had this come up on one of my shows here in the last week or so, but they have 2 locations I know of, possibly 3, and this is one of the frozen yogurt shops. They were inspected on March 11th as well. This is the one that is located on I-45 north. It's just kind of right there off of the interstate. I think it's in there with like Bed Bath & Beyond and in that area. They had listed here 4 demerits, and again, that that's not 4 things wrong that the inspector found, but it's just one check, and then they have this grading system. But basically, it looks like they had maybe a thermometer, or here it is. The hot water was 82 degrees Fahrenheit, and it has a note here: hot water should be at about 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So. Just little things like that. Think about all the stuff that these restaurants have to keep up with, and it's all for our health. So I've got one more here that is looks like they had a couple of issues when the inspector was there, and that is Shogun Japanese Restaurant, and that is here in Conroe on Davis Street, and they were inspected on March 7th, and they have 3 demerits marked here, and it says clean the wall by the clean the walls. Looks like by the refrigerator door. Again, it doesn't look like anything that's too terrible there. And other than that, they had a clean report. So that's the ones that needed a little bit of work, a little bit of help there. And I want to give a pat on the back to the ones that are out there and doing a good job. And so these are the ones that had like 0 demerits. I mean, the health inspector walked in there. You think about it. I don't know what time of day they do these inspections. I would think like during the day. So there's probably business going on and that type of stuff. So the inspector can kind of see what all's going on and what's happening. Behind the scenes, so to speak. And these restaurants still come out with no demerits, no issues, no problems whatsoever, a clean bill of health, if you will. So I like to, again, acknowledge these restaurants and let them know that they're doing a good job. And the first one I have here is Charlie's Grilled Subs, and that's number 409 on Lake Woodlands Drive in the Woodlands there. And they were inspected on March 11th. And like I said, looking at the report here, there's 0 demerits. So, good job, Charlie's Grilled Subs. Now you might want to ask yourself, well, Mike, why you have like a yogurt shop, and some of you may even heard me talk about maybe donut shops and things like that. Well, Mike, why do you have all those on the health hour? Aren't you talking about healthy food and stuff like that? Well, what I'm actually talking about is again the overall health and safety of the general public out there, and these are the actual inspections that are coming from the inspectors. So I just kind of read them off, and it is what it is. So the next one, and the reason why I had to kind of prep this one is because it's Baskin Robbins, ice cream shop, and this is the one on Research Forest in the Woodlands. They were inspected on March 15th. And they had no issues. They had no demerits. 0 at the bottom of the page. All was good. So good job, Baskin Robbins in the Woodlands there on Research Forest, and very good, very good. My last one for the day, and this is a Sonic Drive-In, and it is located on Highway 105 in Conroe. And again, you might want to say, well, that's fast food, Mike. Come on, why you bringing that one up? Well, the truth is, we all eat at these places. I mean, I still enjoy a hamburger. I still enjoy ordering a pizza and stuff. That's real life. It's a diet doesn't mean you stop all of these things that you enjoy. You do have to kind of pay attention to it, and a lot of that kind of stuff is in my book. Hint, hint. But anyway, again, I'm just reporting to you what the health inspectors are doing out there, and I really think that it's important to acknowledge the restaurants that are doing a good job. So the Sonic Drive-In on Highway 105 here in Conroe, they were inspected on March 15th, and they had no issues whatsoever, and they did a great job. I would like to once again invite you to be part of the show, and you can do that by calling in at 936-647-3776, or you can always hit me up on my website, www.mikesasser.com. I've got a contact page there, and on that page you can email me, you can Facebook me, you can tweet me on Twitter. All of those links are there, very easy to find, convenient for you. And just a reminder, we do this live show every Wednesday coming at you right here from downtown Conroe on Lone Star Internet Radio. I'm kind of getting the signal here. We're coming up on a break. So we're here at the bottom of the hour, and want you to stay tuned. And like I said, get in touch with us. Let me know what you'd like to hear, what you'd like to maybe on the upcoming show, and we'll be right back.
Tune in every Sunday night right here on Lone Star Internet Radio for adventure, romance, thrills, chills, and everything vintage radio drama can bring. The Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour comes to you every Sunday at 7 p.m. with brand new episodes monthly. Our productions always feature actors, music, and sound effects performed completely live. And now you can enjoy seeing each new episode performed on stage at the Owen Theater in Conroe. Check out www.irlonestar.com for information about upcoming episodes. Relive the glory days of vintage radio drama right here with the Players Theater Company Old Time Radio Hour on Lone Star Internet Radio.
Hello, Montgomery County. I'm Rachel Baldwin with Special Olympics Texas, Area 6. Are you a fan of courage? Are you a fan of determination? Are you a fan of acceptance, grace, and skill? Then you're already a fan of Special Olympics. Make it official. Volunteer, coach, and/or compete and be a fan of dignity and acceptance. The dedication of our Special Olympics Texas volunteers provides mainstreaming experiences for athletes with intellectual disabilities. You will touch the heart of another person, and it will move you in a meaningful way that lifts the spirit. Please visit the Heart of East Texas Area 6 webpage at www.sotx.org. Also, like us on Facebook to be a fan and be part of Special Olympics Texas.
Hi, Hi, this is BJ Orner from Montgomery County Performing Arts Society. I'm here to remind you to get your tickets now for all the upcoming events that McPass has to offer. All shows will be held at the beautiful Crichton Theater in downtown Conroe. Call 936-441-7469 for your tickets today, or go to our website, www.mcpass.org, for more information. Hope to see you at the show.
Doing business since 1985, Assistance League of Montgomery County is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization where all proceeds stay in Montgomery County. We are proud to sponsor 10 philanthropic programs that enhance the lives of those in our community. Visit our thrift shop at 126 North San Jacinto Street in downtown Conroe, or call us at 936-760-1151. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
The Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service has been dedicated to educating Texans for over a century. In 1915, the Extension Program was established under the federal Smith-Lever Act to deliver university knowledge and agricultural research findings directly to the people. Ever since, AgriLife Extension programs have addressed the emerging issues of the day, serving diverse populations across the state. Texans turn to Extension for solutions in horticulture, agriculture, 4-H and youth, and family and consumer sciences. Extension agents respond not only with answers, but also with resources and services that result in significant returns on investment to boost the economy. Join us Fridays at 1 o'clock for the AgriLife Extension Hour.
Hey, welcome back to the Health Hour with Mike Sasser. I am Mike Sasser, your host. And you might be just tuning in and you're asking yourself, well, what is the Health Hour? It's a 1 hour show that we do here on Lone Star Internet Radio, coming to you out of Conroe. And it's about things that's happening in the community and Montgomery County and surrounding areas. I've actually had some people that have listened to me in Louisiana and other places and stuff because we are on the internet, which is cool. And I think it's okay to say this. We're about to soon launch into the FM spectrum, if you will. I think that's coming up in the next maybe month or so. Pretty exciting there, and a lot of things going on. But basically, the Health Hour, I like to say, is an hour of health news that you can use. And in case you are just tuning in, if you missed the first half of the show, then you can always go to www.irlongstar.com and catch our podcast, which is the past shows, or I just recently added a link on my website that would take you to those the podcast shows as well. Which my website is www.mikesasser.com. So the next part on the show segment, as I like to call it, I wanted to talk to you about some tips on healthy eating when dining out. So many of us eat out nowadays. You pass the restaurants. It almost doesn't seem like whatever time of day it is that the parking lots are pretty full, and it just people. I think it's a big part convenience. I don't. I could be wrong. I mean, hey, call in and tell me what your thoughts are. But basically, used to go out when it was kind of like a special thing or an event or something like that. But now it's really just more, hey, let's just go grab something, and hit the restaurant. So what I began to look at, and this got me to thinking from last week's show, I talked about the amount of sodium in our foods that we eat, and a lot of the sodium is found in restaurant foods. So I thought, well, let me dig up some stuff, and you can find out so much information on the internet out there. Let me do a little research here and find some things that's out there first that I think you maybe should at least consider avoiding, and I just picked a few here. These are restaurants again. We just came out of the restaurant reports and stuff, and like I said, I'm never wanting to beat these restaurants up or anything like that. But this is just information that's out there, and many of your chain restaurants, you can go to their websites. You can Google, their nutrition values or their nutrition, guidelines, the menus, and all of this information to come up, and you can make a little healthier choices for yourself and your family. But again, we're talking about some tips on how to eat maybe a little more healthy in restaurants when you're dining out. And these were some things that just kind of knocked me almost out of my chair when I began to read this, and some things that I've considered eating before, some things that I have eaten before in the past, and just I didn't really pay attention to nutrition back in those days. When I wrote my book, well, I did a lot of research, and I tell you, I read nutrition labels on everything nowadays. I mean, everything. I look it up online. I walk through the grocery stores and I spin the can around and read the nutrition label. So you can really learn a lot, and you cut down on your sodium, cut down on your sugar, and those two things right there over time can make a big difference in your life. But getting to these restaurants here, this is Applebee's, and these are things that I would say that you want to maybe reconsider or even avoid. And again, these things that just like really jumped out there, and it may be one of your favorite meals, but I'm here to inform you and make you aware of this. So at Applebee's, if you like their hand battered fish and chips, and I mean, who doesn't like fish and chips? It's just kind of like one of those, just I don't know. Sometimes you just have to go have fried fish and French fries basically is what it is. But they're hand battered fish and chips, and this is coming off of their information. So I'm not making these numbers up or anything. It's the information's out there. But calorie wise, it's 1,490 calories. So if you're average, you're somewhere around 1,800 to 2,000 calories per day, something like that. So just this one meal, you have over half of your daily amount of calories. All right, 100 grams of fat, 17 grams of saturated fat. That's something that you want to stay away from. 1 gram of trans fat. Okay, that's something you definitely want to stay away from. Here's the kicker, and again, I honestly, in my book, in my life, I don't pay a whole lot of attention to calories, because if you start cutting back, especially on the sugar that's in the foods that you eat, you're just automatically going to cut back on calories most of the time. But here is what really jumps out at me is, in this hand battered fish and chips from Applebee's, there's 1,920 milligrams of sodium. That's in that one meal. Now, let me give you some guidelines here, and this is from the CDC. The sodium intake for an individual, a normal, good intake, daily intake, is about 1,500 milligrams of sodium. They suggest not going over 2,300 milligrams of sodium, 2,300 milligrams of sodium per day. Okay, so think about it. This one meal has 1,920 milligrams of sodium. You have 3 more meals to eat. You're probably going to have a couple of snacks along the way. You're probably going to have some maybe a juice to drink or some type of beverage. That, folks, is how we're consuming way too much sodium that our body needs, and it leads to all types of health issues like heart disease. Certainly, sodium is linked to high blood pressure, hypertension, and just so many other things there. Carbs, 104 grams of carbs, 9 grams of sugar, not so bad. You're supposed to stay around about 25 grams of sugar per day. Think about 6 to 9 teaspoons of sugar, and of course 45 grams of protein. So, but again, what scares me, what jumps out off the page to me, is the amount of sodium that is in many of these restaurant foods here. And I've got a few more examples for you here. This is Bonefish Grill. They have one there in the Woodlands, and their large mussels, Josephine. That's one of their dishes that they have, and this one dish has 1,698 calories in it, 120 grams of fat, 58 grams of saturated fat, and 3 grams of trans fat. Now, again, that's all a little alarming. Yeah, I would probably pay attention to that. But here's the kicker for me. And this is one serving, one meal. The amount of sodium in this large mussels Josephine at the Bonefish Grill is 4,418 milligrams. So you have almost doubled your amount of sodium intake on this one meal for that day. Think about that for a second. Okay, 6 grams of sugar, not so bad, but the sodium is just kind of off the chart, and it's crazy. Now, I have to admit, this is one of my favorites. I will still splurge on this sometimes, but Buffalo Wild Wings and their large boneless wings. 2,580 calories. Okay. This is unbelievable. I checked. I thought it was a typo. They are saying that there's 10,490 milligrams of sodium in the large boneless wings at Buffalo Wild Wings. Every two wings, and you're almost at your daily amount of sodium intake. So please watch out for that. Watch out for that. Also, I'm assuming that it probably has buffalo sauce on it, because the sugar is high on this as well. It's 27 grams of sugar. This one meal, this one daily meal has way over the amount of sodium you need, and is over the amount of sugar that you need in your diet. It's crazy. Here's one more. Chili's is a pretty famous restaurant, or definitely a favorite of mine. But the beef bacon ranch quesadillas contain about 1,800 calories, 46 grams of saturated fat, overall 135 grams of fat. Not much trans fat at all, like 0.5 grams of trans fat. Again, the sodium count is 3,980 milligrams of sodium in this one meal. 10 grams of sugar, okay, and protein, by the way, 80 grams. But they had a little side note here. They said that this is nearly a day's worth of calories and more fat than 10 hot dogs. I mean, I like quesadillas. I didn't realize that it had that much stuff in it and everything. So so what do you do? How do you eat healthy in restaurants? Well, first off, don't be afraid to ask your server that certain if you're on a certain type of if you want to cut your sodium, if you want to cut your sugar, ask them how the ways to do that. Ask them to recommend menu items. You can also order off the appetizer menu. A lot of times, much smaller portions. Cut your portions in half. That way, number one, you're reducing the sodium and the sugar and calories that you're taking in, and basically you're exercising portion control. So going out in restaurants is just a fact of life. It's real life, and we all do it. So don't be afraid to ask for advice. If you like things certain ways, put your dressings on the side, things like that. There's all types of very easy and simple things you can do while you're out there in a restaurant. So hope those tips help. And like I said, watch the sodium, watch the sugar. And we're going to take a break, and we'll come right back, and we'll talk about some grocery store weekly ads.
Heaven's Army of Resources and Recreation Center is a 501c3 nonprofit organization featuring a 10,000 square foot building located at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas. At Heaven's Army, we offer over 26 different services free for all ages, from karate, dance, drug and alcohol classes, anger management, parenting, food and clothing pantries, to just name a few. We are supported solely by volunteers and private donations. Our main mission is to glorify God in all that we do. At Heaven's Army, we strive to be a hand up, not a handout. Come check us out at 19325 FM 1485 West, New Caney, Texas, or call for more information at 281-689-5864. You may also learn more about Heaven's Army by visiting our website at heavensarmyofresources.com.
Hello, I'm Bonita DeRosa, Animal Control Officer for the City of Willis. We invite you to tune in to Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 a.m. for the Willis Hour. On the first Thursday of the month, the Willis Hour will be covering upcoming events and news about the city. Join in the conversation with your city officials and other leaders in the community. On the third, we will be doing a recap of the last City Council meeting. The mission of the City of Willis is to provide high-quality services, accountability, and professional commitment to our citizens. We pledge to provide those who live, work, and visit our city an effective government that is open and responsive to the needs and values of the community. Again, we invite you to tune in on Lone Star Internet Radio every first and third Thursday of the month at 11 for the Willis Hour.
Doing business since 1985, Assistance League of Montgomery County is a nonprofit, all-volunteer organization where all proceeds stay in Montgomery County. We are proud to sponsor 10 philanthropic programs that enhance the lives of those in our community. Visit our thrift shop at 126 North San Jacinto Street in downtown Conroe or call us at 936-760-1151. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
I'm Lieutenant Bob Berry with the Conroe Police Department, reminding you that texting and talking on the phone while driving are not only dangerous, but also illegal in school zones and other posted areas. Drive safely and alert.
Hey, welcome back to the Health Hour. I'm Mike Sasser, and I am your host of the Health Hour. This is a weekly live show coming to you from Lone Star Internet Radio here in Conroe, Texas, serving the community, Montgomery County, and all surrounding areas. I mean, who knows? We might be having somebody listening in Canada or wherever. That's the cool thing about being on the internet, and we will soon be in the FM band, if you will. I think that's, the FM band. So that's exciting. That's coming up. Stay tuned for that. And the Health Hour is an hour of health news that you can use. Moving right along, we have a segment that I do every week, and by the way, I don't want to sound like I'm repeating myself, but I kind of am. Every Wednesday is usually when the grocery stores release their new ads for the week, and I like to look through the ads, and kind of maybe see what some healthy choices are out there, or maybe some seasonal fruits or vegetables that they have on sale, and maybe give you some ideals and things like that. And I like to try to keep the stores local, so I bounce back and forth. I find some of the smaller supermarkets and grocers, as well as I talk about the Krogers and the HEBs out there, and all those guys too. And just to let you know that you don't have to jump in your car and kind of run to all these different grocery stores to try to find out what's on sale and whatnot. Again, a lot of this information is on their websites. I mean, you can just you can pull up their website. Usually, like right now, I'm looking at the Kroger's weekly ad, and you don't have to be a card-carrying member, if you will, to see the ads, see what's on sale. But many times you do have to have their card to be able to get the savings, if you will. Most of the time, the cards and that kind of stuff, that's it's free to sign up for, and they just like to kind of have their preferred customers or loyalty. I think that's what they call it, is loyalty points and stuff. So I'm looking here at the Kroger's ad, and again, this just came out, so it's good from today till March 29th, next Tuesday, and then they'll come out with a new ad. and we'll be talking about it. But something that I have a Kroger's not too far from me, so again, that's kind of like my laboratory, if you will. I'll go and spend quite a bit of time kind of walking through the grocery store, reading labels, checking on different foods and looking at things and stuff like that. But again, we're getting into springtime, and a lot of produce is becoming seasonal. And one that jumped out at me was the cantaloupes. They have them there at Kroger's for 99 cents, and melons. I mean, these good nutrition source. They're refreshing. The temperatures are actually getting warmer. I think we're in the 80s today or something like that. We'll have the weather and stuff coming up here in a little bit. But as warm weather approaches, your melons and like watermelons, your cantaloupes, honeydew melons, things like that. They all have a lot of good nutritional value. And get this, they don't come with a nutrition label on them. But you can go to the internet, you can Google, nutrition values for cantaloupe, and all this information will pop up. It'll tell you what's in the average size cantaloupe. It'll tell you, it'll give you a lot of times it'll tell you like a 1/8 slice of cantaloupe. Just so many different ways to look at it. Maybe 100 grams of a cantaloupe. But anyway, that's on sale there. And broccoli crowns. You can make. There's so many different recipes you can make with broccoli. It's not, I know you're saying, well, man, my kids hate broccoli. Nobody wants to eat broccoli. But there's just so many different ways you can mix broccoli. Mix broccoli in with proteins. Eggs in the morning. I like to mix in broccoli with my eggs. And make like an omelet, that type of stuff and everything. So that's it really is a versatile type of vegetable. And if you don't buy it fresh, that is one that you can always find in the frozen food section, and that's another good way to go. They even have these bags now that you can just pop them in the microwave in 4 minutes and steam them. You have steamed vegetables, which is excellent for you. And most of these frozen vegetables, they're flash frozen, so they have the nutrition and everything in them, and they're simple and they're convenient, and you don't have to worry about them spoiling and then throwing good food away. As a matter of fact, this popped up. They have the Kroger's vegetables, and I like they have a pretty good variety there as well. But check this out as far as the value wise. They have 10 for $10, basically $1 a bag, and many times these bags, if you use them as a side, you can get at least a couple of servings out of them. You can read the nutrition label. It's going to tell you the servings per package there. And if you follow that, think about it. You're stretching your food dollars. You're using portion control, and you're eating healthy. So that's kind of how that title of my book came, is like simple and inexpensive and painless. It's just if you look for it, it's out there. It is out there. And the other thing is strawberries. I hit on this, but I guess it's strawberry season. They're on sale. Nice looking strawberries. Lots and lots of health benefits, nutrition wise. And another one is sweet potatoes. I like sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes have a lot of nutrition value. I read different reports on them. There's reports that say that it helps with reducing belly fat. But it's just sweet potatoes to me, and I'll give you a quick little deal. Is you can bake them and freeze them. I didn't know that before, but you can bake them and freeze them, and that makes them convenient. So, hey, running out of time here. I hope you come back next Wednesday. Listen to us again. And Mike Sasser, the Health Hour, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Have a great week and a happy and safe Easter weekend. Thank you.